So what are the guidelines to be followed for automation in testing? So testing automation is not free. It involves a higher cost. It includes the cost for acquiring the tool, then preparing the automation script, testing the script, training the testers for using the tool as well as the script. Then there might be a requirement for multiple tools. So we need to be careful and we need to be plan the automation before adopting it. So what are the points to be taken care? First one, consider building a tool instead of buying one if possible. So if the requirement is small, so if we have a small project, so instead of buying a tool which almost costs the price of the project, what we can do is build a small tool which can be used to test the software. Next, test the tool on an application prototype, because when we start the project or when we decide to buy the tool, we may not have a application to test. So how do we know that the tool is going to help in testing this application? So what we need to do is we need to create a prototype and test that prototype using that tool. So build a system for a prototype and then evaluate the testing tool. Next, not all tests should be automated. So we cannot automate the entire process. There might be cases like we need to manually verify the code, or we have to manually verify the output. So some cases like verifying a printout, so it has to be done manually. So we cannot automate everything. So decide what can be automated and which tool will be sufficient to automate that activity. Next, select the tools according to organizational needs. So instead of just buying couple of tools, so see what is the best suited tool for your requirement and choose that tool for the automation. So it depends upon what is the budget for the tool and what is the schedule. Next point, use proven test script development techniques. So automation will be effective only if we can produce efficient, maintainable and reusable test scripts. So it has to be efficient, maintainable and reusable. So a couple of points to be remember is, one, we need to supply the data for the scripts using spreadsheet or through data pools. So if we hard code the values inside the script, for every execution we need to change the script, which is not efficient. Use modular script development, like as you develop the code, similarly develop the script for testing that code for each module. Build a library of reusable functions. So some of the scripts can be common for testing multiple parts of the project. So build a shared script library which can be used by all test engineers. Maintain the test scripts in a version control tool. So as and when the project progress, there will be multiple versions of the software to be tested as well as test scripts. So we need to make sure that we are using the right version of the test script to test the application. Next point, automate the regression tests whenever feasible. So regression tests consumes a lot of time because we need to execute almost all the test cases to make sure that the existing functionality of the application is not affected. So if a testing tool is used, we can use that tool to run all the tests or sufficient number of test cases to make sure that the product is working fine.